Just came out a little bit of a shift in the cone, a little bit of a shift in the track, and I'll show that to you here. First, let's take a quick look at Irma, and we zoom in a little bit. You can see the eye here. Still a tremendous storm, a Category 4 hurricane, winds at 150 miles per hour, stretching possibly about 500 miles across. And we consider that Florida is about 130 miles across, and its widest point is bigger than the state of Florida. We've got winds at 150, as I mentioned, moving west-northwest at 14. So it has slowed down a little bit since the 8 a.m. update today. The position really just between the Bahamas and Cuba here, but computer models trending a little more down to the south, where it could interact with Cuba a bit before making that turn to the north. And when it will turn to the north is still a little up in the air. If it turns sooner, then it could end up on the track that we saw earlier this morning, which is more directly up the center of the state. But the latest track, with a couple of computer models trending a little more to the west, has it more a little closer to the west coast of Florida as it starts to make that move to the north. Now, there's probably going to be a little teetering back and forth here over the next day or so as Irma moves down to the south of Florida. So when it makes that turn, we'll still be up in the air, but the track does take it up the state as a major hurricane and then quickly loses strength, dropping to a 3, a 2, a 1, even a tropical storm as it makes its way up into Georgia and Kentucky and Tennessee. But still, the high potential for a major hurricane making landfall in South Florida. And that little jog to the west a little bit, we're still going to see a high impact in our viewing area as this storm moves up from south to north. Let's talk a little bit about the watches and warnings that are in effect for our viewing area. We have a hurricane watch in effect for Okeechobee and the Treasure Coast, Okeechobee County. We have a hurricane warning in effect for Lake Okeechobee and Palm Beach County. We still have a storm surge watch in effect for the Treasure Coast along the coast and a storm surge warning along the coast for Palm Beach County. That has not yet been changed. So if we break this down for you day by day, here's what you can expect. Starting with today, winds will pick up as we get into especially the afternoon hours and Irma gets closer to South Florida. The pressure increases between Florida and Irma, and we see those winds 15 to 25 miles per hour and gusty by later on this afternoon and this evening. Then, as we continue into tomorrow, we've got increasing clouds, increasing winds. We've got the potential for tropical storm conditions across the area throughout the day on Saturday, with some big squalls moving in as those outer bands sweep on shore from Irma. Very rough seas. Then, Saturday night, making that slow transition from tropical storm to hurricane conditions, rains picking up, storm surge picking up. And as we get to Sunday, the peak day, with hurricane conditions possible, possibly major hurricane conditions across the area throughout the day on Sunday, and peak storm surge as well. On Monday, hurricane conditions start to move to the north of our area. We weaken to tropical storm conditions and then slowly clearing from south to north across the area throughout the day. Still a windy afternoon, still some rainfall around.